of being humble, let me get to it. That motivation music, get control of your life, don't let nobody else do it. Cause we're not gonna have Metro S550s cruising. Feel like you winning on the...
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. And I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, or just want to hit us up on the voicemail line, give us a call, 219-413-9405. And of course, we will play your take back on our next episode. Speaking of episodes, shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off of your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code The Run Podcast. Now, this code can only be applied for first-time users on the mobile app or website. So I don't know about you, but you better go ahead and go to one of these playoff games because it is crazy. We got absolute cinema lining up. And not only are we Detroit to Chicago today, but we're going all the way to Baltimore because I got my guest in here with me, Tyree, host of All the Hot Podcasts, joining us today. What's going on, Tom? How you feeling, bro?
Good, Manny, man. It's always a blast when we collaborate with each other, man. I'm glad to be on the podcast today.
Me too, man. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you setting some time aside and, coming on the pod to talk ball with me. So I'm excited about this. So here's what we're going to do. I mentioned there's a bunch of crazy games happening. There's going to be some absolute cinema type of games going on. The first one I got my eyes on really is this divisional round matchup between the Rams and the Chicago Bears. Oh, my gosh. I'm anticipating a great matchup here. And before I tell you who I think is going to win, I want to know who you think is going to win this game.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be a good game. The series is tied 1-1 between these two NFC West teams. Now, I think it's going to be a defensive battle like the first two games because I don't believe either team scored 20 or more points against each other this year. I'm going with the Seahawks, though. I think they're going to be well-rested with the bye week as the number one seed. The 12th man is going to be rocking in Seattle. They'll have home field advantage. The key for them to win this game is Sam Darnold play mistake-free football because the lights can't get too bright for him. And we see what he did in his first playoff game. I think they got to win the time of possession. I think they'll do that against the 49ers defense. And I think the Seattle Seahawks got to do a good job in pass protection as well. They have allowed under 30 sacks this year. They protected Sam Darnold all year long. They can't let the pass rush of the San Francisco 49ers get home to them. But also, I think Mike McDonald's defense is going to give Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy a lot of issues. I think they'll be missing George Kittle more than ever. He unfortunately had that torn Achilles injury against the Eagles. And I think the Seattle Seahawks are going to defeat the 49ers this weekend in this game.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. And for those listening, it was a mistake on my end. I said Bears and Rams. My bad. I literally just told. No, you good. It was on me. It was my mistake. It was my mistake. I literally just right before I literally just got done saying, "All right, we going Rams, Seahawks, Rams, Seahawks." This is the first thing I say. Oh, Bears and Rams. So we're talking Rams, Seahawks first. The Bears is coming just after this, so don't worry. But no, no, you good. Literally. I said we was about to do this too. So, but no, I agree with you. So you got Seahawks winning this matchup.
Yeah, I think it's going to be competitive. It could be a swing game, but yeah, I'm riding with the Seahawks here.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'm not mad at that. Part of me is siding with the Seahawks. I'm like really, really torn into two. Obviously, these two teams split in the regular season, as you mentioned. But the game being in Seattle really makes me favor the Seattle Seahawks to win this ball game, bro, because I've seen the Seahawks, and it's weird because it's not really a true pattern. When I'm like looking at all the information for this team, I was trying so hard to find like any sort of pattern that could give away an advantage for maybe the 49ers or the Seahawks. But the road team has won in both of these matchups. Earlier in the year when the 49ers played on the road, they beat the Seahawks. And then later in the year when the Seahawks played the 49ers on the road, the Seahawks ended up winning in San Francisco. So now it's kind of weird to see how it'll happen, but maybe this pattern will stay the same and the 49ers end up winning there. However, the only thing that I'm truly concerned about here and what I know for sure it will probably happen is I'm not really expecting a super high scoring game. Now, these are two high power offenses, of course, both very elite. The defenses are obviously very elite as well. But the thing is, the Seahawks defense got a little bit better edge on the defensive end when you compare it to the 49ers. So it's tough, and that makes me want to side with the Seahawks. But Tom, I got to go 49ers to win this game, bro. I'm sorry. I got to go 49ers, mainly because the Seahawks done had a week off. They're like recovering. They're relaxed a little bit. Like the intensity is just not there, and the urgency might not be there. And then you see, obviously, Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator, and I mean, a lot of their coordinators and coaching staff has been getting picked apart for interviews of head coaches, offensive coordinators with other teams. Like, that's hard for a team to just snap back into being able to lock in and win. Meanwhile, you look at the 49ers, and the 49ers have been on it. They just got done playing a tough game over there in the division round. So it's like they're on it. Like they're still on their P's and Q's. Everybody's still locked in. Yeah, they might be a little bit more beat up and they haven't had as much rest. However, they're still in the moment and they understand the intensity, and that intensity is still there. The specific urge of being able to win the ball game and having to win the ball game is there. So for that reason, I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers, especially because the road team has won in these past few matchups. So now they're playing in Seattle, and the 49ers might win. So it'll be interesting to see how this play out. But I think nonetheless, we'll definitely get absolute cinema here in this ball game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one hell of a game. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer for this game because it could go either way. And the 49ers, yeah, they are riding a lot of momentum after that win. The Seahawks coming off that bye, and hopefully that doesn't hurt them. But, yeah, I can see your point for the 49ers winning this game. That's some good points you said.
Yeah, it'll be interesting here. Also, like looking at the matchup between like individuals on here. Obviously, Brock Purdy. That game against the Eagles, he had 2 interceptions. It was a little rough. Eagles defense was pretty solid getting to him. I expected the Seahawks defense to come just as strong as the Eagles did, if not even more. So that did bring a little concern for me. And also, too, the other concern on the other hand is like with the Seahawks, we still don't know what type of Sam Darnold we're going to get. I mean, I know he's been on a team that's won 13 plus games in back-to-back years, but last year with the Vikings in the first round, he crumbled. He didn't look like what he seemed to be all season long. So I'm still kind of questioning if he'll be able to stand tall in this game against the 49ers, who are a solid defense. So that's an aspect that I'm definitely looking forward to. Anything else in this game like we should keep an eye out for or just take note of?
Yeah, I'm telling you guys, like the coaching matchup, coaching is really going to matter in this game. Like I feel like the game's going to come down to which coach can win the battle, like Mike McDonald's defense or Kyle Shanahan's offense. Whatever one can prevail, that's the team that's going to win. That matchup's going to set the complete tone for this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, man, that's why I'm saying like it's gonna be such a great game because you have a literally offense versus defensive minded head coach, and right now everybody thinks the whole offensive minded head coach is the wave. That's like what everybody's trying to go for and hire. Yeah. But this, I mean, maybe this could be a shift in that. Like, it'll be interesting, man. I really can't wait to see this matchup here. And then now this brings me to the other matchup, the one that was supposed to come second. This matchup is the actual Chicago Bears and the LA Rams. The game is happening in Soldier Field. Tom, who you got winning this ball game?
Ooh, I was teetering back and forth. You know what? I'm going to go with the Rams to win this game. I'm going to trust experience here, and Matthew Stafford clearly has the experience over Caleb Williams at the quarterback position. And I'm not sure if the Chicago Bears defense can hang with the Rams offense for all 4 quarters. I know they had the big comeback last week, and that was really good for the Chicago Bears. But I'm looking at Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Parkinson at the tight end position for the Rams. He stepped up. And they can run the ball, too, with a 1-2 punch of Kareem Williams and Blake Corum. And then I seen what Jordan Love and losing effort did to the Chicago Bears defense. Like Matthew Golden got going at the receiver position. Jaden Reed got going. Romeo Doubs got going. Christian Watson. Like everybody was playing well. And everybody knows the Rams are a better team than the Packers. So I'm thinking if they did that and losing effort, what can the Rams do? And I feel like a coach like Sean McVay is not going to let up if they have a halftime score. He's very successful in terms of having a lead at the half, and he hardly blows leads. So I feel like if they could do their job offensively and the Chicago Bears start off slow offensively, then the Rams could possibly win this game and punch their ticket to the NFC Championship.
Yeah. So okay, I agree with you. So you got the Rams winning this ball game.
Yeah,
I agree
it's
with you
tough.
to an
Tough.
extent. It's going to be a tough game, but the part that makes me think is the slow start, man. The Bears get off to some very, very slow starts. They start the ball game off very bad. And I don't, again, like you said, I don't think Sean McVay will allow his Rams team to go up 14 points or yet alone 20 something points and then just end up collapsing and blowing. I just don't see it
Yeah.
happening to a Sean McVay coach team, and especially to a quarterback like Matthew Stafford, who's playing at an MVP level and that has the experience, won a Super Bowl. I mean, the guy, he's been around the NFL for a long time, played in some playoff games in Detroit also, but just didn't get it done. So sometimes when you do all that losing in the previous situation, it makes you want to win that much more, and it makes the urgency that much more too. So the only doubt I have about this is that the game is in Chicago, and it's going to be hard to win on the road in Soldier Field. Like, especially, this is a slightly off topic too, but there's been a lot of conversations that the Bears possibly not playing at Soldier Field over the next few years. So that kind of makes that makes it a little bit more meaningful for the fans and for the players, knowing that, okay, this might be our only opportunity to win another playoff game at Soldier Field. So it's so difficult. And again, it's kind of like you said with the other game. It's no wrong answer, but
Yeah.
I feel like whatever team I choose, the other is going to end up winning. So it's hard to choose, but I think based on logic and what I've seen from play, and comparing all the individuals of talent from the receiving core, from the defensive side, the Rams are a better team, and I think the Rams will win this ball game. However, the Bears have just continued to shock us over and over and over and over again. So I wouldn't even be surprised if, actually, I would be surprised if the Bears ended up winning. But I think I'm going with the Rams on this game too, man, because this is a good football team, and just going back to the receiving core, Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, we've seen how they lit up defenses, and if you just got lit up by a defense that had Dobbs and the Green Bay Packers, like it's gonna be tough guarding that team with the LA Rams.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears do win this game, but I'm just thinking, like, that receiving core, no disrespect to them, but they're not on the level of Puka and Devontae. And then Devontae coming back, like, you can see some missed opportunities when the Rams played the Panthers. Like, you got to be on the field to still have that connection or be practicing to get that connection still going. And Matthew Stafford missed some deep shots to Devontae Adams in that game against the Panthers. Now that they're back on the same page with a full week of practice, I don't think they'll make those mistakes. And if I seen those receivers step up in the way like they did against that Bears defense, I can only imagine what those two will do and other receiving options will do.
So yeah, and I agree with that part too. So that's going to be like an interesting aspect to watch coming along in this game. Another thing too is just like fatigue. I'm curious, and I think about this often too, especially just like with the format of the playoffs. And we talked about the playoff format, and maybe it should be adjusted, maybe it shouldn't, whatever. But I think about fatigue when you play a game that's like so high emotion, like the emotions are so high. It's a clutch win. You were right there. It was a nail biter, and you win that ball game, and it's such a thrill, not only to the fans, you're at home, so the fans is going as crazy can be. Like it can it like almost sense or give a sense of false hope. Like what you've done is already accomplished. Like you're good. You don't need to do anymore. Like you already reached that peak of what you need to accomplish because you experienced that crazy thrill of a nail bite comeback win, making history for the franchise, making history in the NFL. Like sometimes these things can take a weight and, work for the worst, if that makes sense. I don't think Ben Johnson would like allow that, but sometimes you can't really help that. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, I get what you mean, because it's a point where Ben Johnson, he's a good offensive-minded guy in his first year being a head coach. But then that goes to your point, like, are they feeling themselves too much because you erased the 18-point deficit against your biggest rival? Are you feeling like you've already accomplished too much, or are you willing to do more? And then that's why I think the advantage really plays a factor because Sean McVay, he's out for blood. Like he wants another Super Bowl. How bad did the Bears want it at this point? Because they're new to this in terms of this era of them being a competitive football team again with a young quarterback in Caleb Williams, who's only going to play a second playoff game. So it's like if you guys are feeling yourselves too much, you playing a veteran team, you might run into that problem, like a similar problem like you just said. So I definitely see where you're coming from for that.
Yeah, so that kind of ties into why I picked the Rams to win. And again, I fully expect the Bears to go out there and be competitive and make it an elite game and a tough game. I mean, and honestly, at this point, I would love for the Bears to probably go all the way because I've never been to a Super Bowl parade, and being here, I would love.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would be so cool to actually go to a Super Bowl parade. No, I think that would be awesome. But okay, we both got the Rams. Damn, we've been agreeing on everything, Tom. What are these? Like, yeah, we gonna disagree on what? Well, no. Seahawks and 49ers. We disagree. I guess I picked 49ers. All right, so. This kind of brings me over to the midway point of some of these teams. So we got Buffalo Bills, and then I also want to go ahead and just chime in on some of the other things. Like we got a voicemail caller as well, and I want to jump to the voicemail caller, but we'll take a quick break. And then we'll jump into the Denver Broncos and Buffalo Bills segment, just to kind of shed some light on them and take a guess of who's going to win that ball game between those. So for y'all listening on the live stream anywhere, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. It's just halftime. All right, some ads going to play. That's all. All right.
Oh, you're good.
You good? You good to keep going?
So we're doing the voicemail. What's the next game? The Bills and Texans. I got time, bro. So if you want to go over the hardball thing, I ain't doing nothing else for the rest of the night. So we can go over that.
Okay, all right, bet. I just wasn't sure, and I didn't want to man, I know how it can be sometimes. So I was trying to be wary of whatever you might have. Okay, bet. Yeah, we'll do that then. We'll jump back to the Bills and Broncos, and then Texans and Patriots.
All right.
Texans and Patriots in New England, right?
Yeah.
All right, bet. All right, I'm about to start it up. And then on the voicemail, I just play it back so you'll be able to hear it. All right. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson. Still here with my special guest, Thomas Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. He is here, and he's going to get into the voicemails with us. So if you hear something you agree with, disagree with, like, dislike, hit us up on the voicemail line, 219-413-9405. And, of course, we will play your take back on our next episode. All right, so, Tom, man, look, man, these voicemails, sometimes people be talking crazy. I listen sometimes to just make sure it's not nonsense and it's actually playable, but I try not to, actually listen to see what they're talking about. So we're going to play this one and we'll respond to it to see if we'll respond to it. So, all right, here they go. And just let me know if you can't hear it or not. And, we'll go from there. So here it is, though. This is the first and only voicemail call. So we'll play it back. Let's see what they're talking about.
So this is my take on the season. I feel like the Falcons gonna make some moves. We're gonna hit them playoffs. We're gonna be like one of the best teams in the South. We really can't lose with the team we got for real. I ain't gonna lie. Sign the biggest Falcons fan, Brandon. Also known as PFM_ brand on TikTok.
Okay. All right. Okay. I think I got him saying he said. So I still don't know if he's talking about the following season or not. I'm just gonna assume he's talking about next year.
Yeah,
the Falcons are already in Cancun and was one of the first to be in Cancun. But I don't disagree. I think they definitely have playoff potential and a lot of potential to go to the playoffs, especially with the talent on that roster. Hell, they could have been in the playoffs this year had they just won a couple of games. But I thought the leadership was foul. I've been saying all season that Raheem Morris had to go. The offense was very inconsistent with Zach Robinson. So I think definitely with this team, is as long as we have a competent play caller, they'll get in the playoffs. We'll win a lot of games, and we'll win enough to get in the playoffs. Now it won't be easy because the schedule is going to be a lot more difficult now. I seen the 2026 schedule. Bears are on there, Lions are on there, Ravens, Bengals. Like, they play some dogs, so it'll definitely be a little more difficult to get in the playoffs. But now that the Falcons will hopefully have a competent play caller on the offensive end, I have a lot of confidence that they'll get in there. So that's my thoughts on that. Any thoughts on that, Tom?
Yeah, I think the Falcons definitely have potential for next season. They finished at 8-9, and like you said, if they won a couple more games, they would have won the division and hosted a playoff game. So I think the roster that you guys have, it's definitely, the potential is definitely there. I think what's important for you guys is to land the right head coach in Atlanta, bring somebody in that's in win now mode. And I feel like if you guys figure out the cap space situation and the quarterback situation, I'm not sure when Michael Penix Jr. is going to be back from his knee injury or not, or the Kirk Cousins situation. But if you guys can land a solid head coach that wants to win and figure out the quarterback position with this roster, I think you guys are in win now mode and definitely could be a competitive team next year in the NFC.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting because Kirk, he recently restructured his contract. So
Okay.
him restructuring his contract saved the Falcons a lot of money. Pretty much they backloaded his contract for the year 2027. So if we keep him, then we'll still be inclined to pay that amount in 2027, not this year. But if we cut him, then we won't have to do it. So we'll save even more money. So him restructuring the contract really did help us a lot, give us a little more cap space. Maybe we'll keep Kyle Pitts. This might even give us room to tag Kyle Pitts in a sense. So it'll be kind of interesting. But definitely, I think regardless of keeping Kyle Pitts, losing Kyle Pitts, whether we pay him, tag him, doesn't matter. It's going to come down to who we choose as a head coach and offensive coordinator. Like, this is going to be the biggest if the Falcons go to the playoffs the following year, or if they make anything happen. That's just my thoughts on that. So I definitely, agree with him that there's a lot of potential, but I mean, nonetheless, we will see. I guess you never really know. I mean, I was loudmouthing it up this year about, Falcons going to the playoffs and we doing it, and now look what happens. All right, so this kind of makes me think too. Before we go to the Bills and the rest of these playoff games, there's a lot of coaching situations happening right now in the NFL. Recently, we've seen the first head coach of the year. First head coach of the year get hired. I guess we can say that. Yeah. So the New York Giants, they are planning on signing John Harbaugh. He will be the head coach for the New York Giants. Now, a lot of the reports are just saying that this deal is done besides a couple of more signatures. That's all I'm seeing. But a lot of reports are saying it's confirmed he's going to be going to the New York Giants to coach. And initially I saw this report. I'm like, hey, great deal. I wanted John Harbaugh in Atlanta. I thought he was a great coach. But I think he'll have a great impact on the young guys there with the Giants. It's not a bad job considering they got a lot of young talent. So I think it's a solid deal. My only question now is not even a question. My only thoughts with Harbaugh going to the Giants is, obviously we know the Giants have talent. And Harbaugh is there, someone who's been a proven leader, someone who's clearly adjusted his schemes from quarterback to quarterback, going from Flacco to Lamar Jackson, and being able to still thrive and get his team to the playoffs. And now I look at it from the aspect of, I don't think people should be too surprised if the Giants mess around and win this division. It might sound crazy, but genuinely speaking, that Eagles team is falling apart, and they've been falling apart for some time now. Since they've won the Super Bowl all year, they've been crumbling, and I don't think it's getting any better since A.J. Brown kind of wants out, and we don't know what their offensive coordinator situation is. I know he just got fired, but it's still a weird situation over there. Commanders up and down because Jaden Daniels is hurt. Tom, now, hey, this is your division. This is your division. So I'm talking a little crazy, but correct me if I'm wrong. What's your thoughts on Harbaugh going to the Giants?
Yeah, I'm not going to take anything away from John Harbaugh. I think he's one hell of a coach and clearly the best coaching candidate that was out there on the market. You obviously want to go after a former Super Bowl champion if he's available. He did one hell of a job for the Ravens. I think he won over 180 games in his tenure there in Baltimore. But I can understand the Giants' excitement for having John Harbaugh because they went through the ringer with head coaches. I mean, they had Brian Dable, that didn't work out for him. Joe Judge did not work out for him. Ben McAdoo, like these are all the head coaches that have been in New York since Tom Coughlin has retired a decade or so ago. So I think this Giants team has potential. Don't get me wrong. They got Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterboot, Malik Neighbors, your offensive pieces. And then the defensive line is really good. They got a really good pass rush. But my thing is, I think Giants fans might be expecting a little bit too much here because we got to remember there is a reason why John Harbaugh is no longer in Baltimore. There were several fourth quarter leads blown over the years. He went 1-3 with one of the best quarterbacks in the league, in Lamar Jackson. 1-3 in the postseason with Lamar, which is nothing to rave about either. And I don't like the fact that you're possibly bringing in your former coordinators in Baltimore to New York. Like I've seen reports that Todd Monken might be on the way to New York. You can't bring Zach Orr there. And I had a lot of question marks about Todd Monken down the stretch, underutilizing Derrick Henry in some crucial win-or-go-home games. So I think the potential is there. They have a really tough schedule. The whole NFC East has a tough schedule next year. Giants, I think they can figure this out. I think John Harbaugh could bring success. I'm looking at 9 wins, possibly 10 wins for them max next year. But I think the potential is there. But I wouldn't get too carried away if you're a New York Giants fan just yet.
That's fair. That's fair. I think that's very fair. But that division is kind of going to be wide open, man. It's going to be tough, especially depending on who y'all get as defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
that's being the Cowboys. It's gonna be interesting to see who y'all can find as defensive coordinator. Also, I want to apologize. I was about to send it to you when the news first broke about Jeff Albrecht. I don't know if you've seen it, but
man, I was so mad. I said they blocking, yo. They blocking. I said, that would have been a good defensive coordinator hire, and I was like, they just blocked him, man. Like, ain't nobody in charge in Atlanta. Just let the interview happen, man.
Oh yeah, hey man, hey, my Falcons said, hell no, Auburn just staying in Atlanta. It was like, hey, see what he did last year with that defense? They said, oh yeah, we got to keep him if anything. So they haven't like reported and said he has to stay or it's a requirement that he stays. But the signs like that, them telling the Cowboys, no, you can't interview him, but you can interview Zach Robinson, the offensive coordinator. Things like that tell me that there's a good chance that Jeff Albrecht is probably going to stay in Atlanta. But there's other candidates out there. I mean, I don't know if Brian Flores is going to leave the Vikings for another defensive coordinator position, but I mean, maybe depending on how much y'all talking for his money, maybe. And I mean, I don't know. It could be a couple other coaches out there that y'all could possibly grab for a defensive coordinator. But off the top of my head, I can't think of none. But that's a position in a whole that if y'all feel that could be a scary Cowboys team because y'all offense proved that they can be very scary. So, and then, I hate to bring this up too. The whole George Pickens. Like, are y'all going to pay George Pickens?
Yeah, see, this is the thing with George Pickens. I'm going to tell you flat out, we're not giving him the bag. We're just going to tag him. It's because it's so many things that we got to do this offseason. And I think George Pickens knows this. We have to tag him because if we just give him a big bag, then you're not going over everything you need to cover in order to be a championship contender again, because the whole defense needs to be reshuffled. I don't care who the defensive coordinator is or not. If he doesn't have talent, he's not going to thrive. So we got to throw money out there to get some pieces in free agency. We still got to re-sign our running back, Javonte Williams. Brandon Aubrey's a free agent too, our kicker. So we got some things to do, and there's only one tag that every franchise can use on a player. So I think if you give George Pickens a tag, you're looking at him making at least 25 to 30 million or more next season. So why not just take the money now? And Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones need to establish to him, like, you're our guy. But for now, we just got to tag you in order to take care of the other financial situations that we got going on with the team.
Yeah, that's a tough break, man. I will say, go ahead, send Brandon Aubrey over to Atlanta. We had some schedules with the kickers. Go ahead, just let him go. We'll take care of it. We'll send him some money, and we just need him over there in Atlanta. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. Now, there's some other coaching vacancies as well. And before we move on to the other playoff games, just want to kind of shed some light on some of these positions and teams that might be the most desirable. Like I think at this point, we can I don't want to give you the list, but the list of some teams that still need head coaches. Browns need a head coach. Raiders need a head coach. Falcons, Cardinals, Ravens, Titans, and the Miami Dolphins. So out of all those teams, like what's some locations that's the most desirable? I have my thoughts and theories on it, but I'm curious to who you think is like a very desirable team in this position.
All right, so I'm gonna be honest. The Ravens are the top ones, and the Falcons. I think those are the top two.
Facts.
I hate to honestly say it. Everything else is not really desirable. If you're a top tier name, like if you're a first guy getting a job, yeah, that's good. But I feel like every other place is just not good enough right now. Like the Titans, you got Cam Ward, a young quarterback, but I don't know if that might take a while to build in Tennessee with that division right now. You're looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a team that I think that should go in the rebuild mode at this point because they don't have a quarterback. They have not had a quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger, and they've just been throwing in veterans year in, year out. Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. Like, just draft somebody, bro. Like, I feel like with an aging TJ Watt too and an expensive defense, like they could be heading to a rebuild. I'm looking at the Browns; they're just cursed. Like that has potential though. The Browns, they do have potential, but you got to build offensively and figure that out. Like if you want to go with Deshaun Watson, Shador Sanders next year, I think honestly, out of all the teams you said, the Miami Dolphins job might not be the best. I think that's the worst option to go to right now, because other than Tyreek Hill, well, you could lose him, but other than Tyreek Hill, Devon Achane, and Jalen Waddle, like there's nothing really to rave about this Miami Dolphins team. You know, Tua is going to be gone. They could eat a lot of cap space or dead cap money in that, and I don't know. I just feel like anything else other than the Ravens and the Falcons is not intriguing. But I think those two are the best head coaching candidate spots to go to right now.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And I didn't even mention the Pittsburgh Steelers. Recently, Mike Tomlin just decided he's going to step down after getting eliminated in a wild card game. So, I mean, kudos to him. It's a lot of rumors saying that he doesn't want to coach anymore and that he's going to just step away, take some time. I haven't seen anything about him doing interviews. Obviously, he's a very desirable head coach, having, the 20-plus win seasons. With Pittsburgh, he got a Super Bowl under Pittsburgh Steelers. So, I mean, he's done his part with coaching. So I get if he wants to take his time and, step away from football. However, I don't think that's a desirable position. The Steelers, they got to go strictly into rebuild mode. They got to figure something else out. And like you said, man, honestly, all these teams outside of the Ravens and the Falcons are undesirable. If I'm going to accept a head coaching position with the Raiders or with the Dolphins, you got to think that if you don't knock it out the park in 1 to 2 years, that they're going to be getting rid of you and hosting interviews once again after 2 seasons because that's just part of the game. Unfortunately, is like they don't even have the tools to win right now. But that's a situation. If you're going there as a head coach, you got to try and flip that. That's the only way you can contain your status or keep your status of being a solid head coach or have that reputation of being a good head coach. But other than that, if it's not the Ravens and the Falcons, it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough, and I really think we see either Clint Kubiak and Kevin Stefanski go to one or the other. I think if the Ravens get Kevin Stefanski, Clint Kubiak will also be in Atlanta and vice versa. I would hate for Atlanta to get Stefanski, but if they, God forbid, they do, then I think Clint Kubiak will probably go to Baltimore. So it'll be tough though, but it's a lot of openings, and I mean it'll be interesting. Obviously, it's going to affect a lot of different things coming in the next season. Some divisions is about to get shaken up. All the coaches in the NFC North, besides the Bengals coach, is gone at this point.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just wild that, I mean, they lost 3 head coaches in one division.
Yes.
Yeah, just crazy. But anyway, so let's go ahead and jump back into the wild card madness or the NFL playoff madness, the divisional round this year or this time around. And just a couple games in this divisional round that we have to break down. And let's go ahead and start it off with the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos. Now, this game is going to be happening in Denver. They say it's hard to breathe over there with the field and just it's going to be tough for the Bills. So who do you got winning this matchup?
This is tough. I'm riding with the Bills here, man. I'm riding with the Bills. This is not going to be an easy game, but I think Josh Allen's going to put that Superman cape on. And I've been saying it before the playoffs. Like, if he doesn't get to a Super Bowl this year, I don't know if he's ever going to get to one or win one because there's no roadblocks. He's the veteran guy still left in the dance with the remaining AFC quarterbacks. And I think he'll get it done, making plays with his arm and his leg against this Denver Broncos defense. The Bills have been very efficient in one-score games, and so have the Denver Broncos. But I do believe offensively they cannot be one-dimensional. They got to get the running game going with James Cook. I think he was held to under 50 rushing yards against the Jacksonville Jaguars, so it's important for them to run the football and pass the football because that's one of the reasons why they average 27, 28 points per game this season. And you know what, Manny? I feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars had the blueprint out how to slow down and dethrone this Denver Broncos defense. Because I remember before the season ended, Jacksonville went on the road and beat them. Trevor Lawrence had 3 to 4 total touchdowns in that game. And ever since then, what is there really to rave about this Broncos defense? Because they played a third-string quarterback Christmas Day against the Kansas City Chiefs. That was a one-possession win for them. And then week 18, they were playing for the number 1 seed, but the Chargers were resting their starters. You played against Trey Lance. So ever since that game, you haven't played a top-tier quarterback, in my opinion. So I think Josh Allen, the Bills, might be too much for him. And then I'm thinking, this is the real thing. I'm thinking if the Denver Broncos defense isn't there to hold Bo Nix's hand and help him out in this game, and he's going to have to step up and do something, I think that's where they could crumble because the Bills was the defense that he struggled against last year in the wild card game where they got blown out. So I don't think if Bo Nix is going to step up if needed to bail out the Denver Broncos defense, he's going to be that guy to help them win this game. And that's why I'm going with the Bills to defeat the Broncos.
Okay, yeah. So this will be a crazy game, and I'm siding with the Buffalo Bills to win. I think the Bills will win this ball game, and I think it'll come down to Josh Allen being able to live within the pressure and live and beat an elite defense like he's done multiple times. If there's anybody who can overcome an extremely talented defense, it's Josh Allen, which is why I think the Bills will end up winning this matchup. However, I did say the Broncos are an elite team. I think the Broncos definitely have Super Bowl potential, but a lot of this is going to weigh on what type of Bo Nix we see out there. And offense is clicking on all cylinders, because if that offense is clicking, can put up points, and the defense is still playing in a good way where they're holding Josh Allen and containing Josh Allen, stopping him on some possessions, then we'll see the Denver Broncos prevail. Now, the game is in Denver. This is going to be a very tough scene to overcome for the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. However, experience does play a part, man. Playoff experience is a real thing for a particular reason, because typically a lot of the guys who have that playoff experience end up winning in the playoffs. And Josh Allen is a dude who's been winning in the playoffs, beating, I mean, you could argue almost anybody in the AFC besides Patrick Mahomes. So now that he's not there, I can't help but to think that Josh Allen won't end up beating the Denver Broncos again. And in his favor, he already has their card from last year. So he's seen this defense before, and he'll be able to adjust and make some plays and be able to get the Bills to win. So in this instance, I think I'm going Buffalo Bills to win this ball game over the Denver Broncos, even though it is in Denver. And this is not me saying I think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be an easy game. I'm still very much expecting an elite game, and it's probably going to be somewhat low scoring. But, it's just tough, man, because this is a good defense with the Broncos.
Yeah, and I think this game can go either way. It's just the fact that I feel like if Bo Nix has to step up and be the hero, I don't want to say he's not ready yet, but at the same time, they did get a bye week, and we only seen him in one playoff game. And you're playing against Josh Allen that hardly loses in the playoffs unless he's playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's why I think if the Denver Broncos can't bail them out, get some turnovers, they let up some points or some big plays down the field, it might not work out in their favor.
Yeah, that's what's really tough about it is we've seen one quarterback thrive and get stuff done under pressure and against elite defenses, and we haven't yet seen that from Bo Nix in the playoffs. So it's a little tough. It's almost like the rookie going against the vet from that position, and the Bills have the vet. So I think I'm going with the Bills in that matchup too. Now that brings me to the other game here, and this is the last game. This is not on the schedule, the last game, but this is the last game we haven't talked about, and this is the Houston Texans and the New England Patriots. Oh man, this is going to be happening in Foxborough. So the Patriots are at home, and I'm gonna be honest, Thomas. I don't want to see the Patriots win. I don't want to see the Patriots win this game, man. I know what people say about the Texans. The offense is shaky. CJ Stroud is shaky, but I just really hope CJ Stroud decides to have one of the best games of his life, and I hope that Texans defense thrives and has one of the best games of their lives. Because I just don't want to see the Patriots win, man. I don't. And I know I'm hating. I know this is blatant hate on this. There's no other statistics to support my reason of why I don't want the Patriots to win, but no, I'm good on seeing the Patriots continue to advance in the playoffs. So by default, I'm going with the Texans to win this game.
Yeah, man. See, all these games are just so hard this week, and they can honestly go either way. Based off what I've seen out of CJ Stroud on Monday night, I did not like that, and I'll get to that. But I'm going to go with the Patriots to win this game. Look, it can go either way, and I'm with you. I would rather see the Texans win rather than the Patriots, but I think the Patriots are going to win this game. I think the key ingredient against this really good defense, they're going to have to run the ball, and they can control time of possession to wear down this defense and to keep CJ Stroud off the field. I mean, Drake May also has to get his pass catchers going like Stephon Diggs. This is going to be his revenge game against his former team in the Texans. Kayshon Boutte, Hunter Henry at tight end position. So I think they can pull it off. But then that brings me to the point where, like we were just talking about, like this Texas defense is good enough to win, but my concern is about the offense. Like, what if CJ Stroud turns over the football 2 to 3 times like he did against Pittsburgh Steelers? Like, he fumbled a total of 3 times and lost the ball twice. But if you can't step up in the pocket and make throws, or you can't be mobile and get out of the pocket while the pocket's collapsing, that's a concern to me. And what if the Texans can't get going offensively? Because Nico Collins might not play because he's in concussion protocol for this game. And then can I trust the Texans offensive line that's pretty bad against this New England Patriots pass rush? Because last week they took advantage of a Chargers offensive line that was pretty bad. I mean, Justin Herbert got sacked 6 times and they forced a fumble out of him. And then look at CJ Stroud, how much stress and how much pressure he was under against that Pittsburgh Steelers pass rush Monday night. So those reasons why I do believe that the Patriots could pull it out. Now, if it was in Houston, I would honestly go with the Patriots, but in Foxborough, they might have this one against the Texans.
Yeah, so it's gonna be tough, man. I think unfortunately, very, very unfortunate, the Patriots will probably win this game. And I'm cheering for the Texans. I want the Texans to win because I really don't want to see the Patriots continue to advance. I'm just not ready for it. And it's me hating. Like, I'm admitting that I'm a hater of the New England Patriots. Like, so I don't even need anybody commenting and saying, oh, you just hating. Yeah, I am hating. I'm letting you know right now. So I think the Patriots do end up winning this game, bro, because when you talk defense to defense, okay, Texans got a solid defense, best in the NFL right now. I mean, you can argue them or the Broncos, but Patriots also have a really good defense. And then you look at who the defense is going against, CJ Stroud, and they haven't found a rhythm at all on the Texans pretty much all season. They've been getting saved by the defense literally every game. So it's tough to side with the Texans when you look at their defense and see who they're going against, which is the New England Patriots. That offense has thrived against other teams. Now, they might not be the team to go light up the scoreboard, put up 40 points in a game, but they are going to figure out a way to get the ball in the end zone or at least kick some down field goals and finish out with more points than the other team. So because of that, I really do think, unfortunately, the Patriots is going to win this game. Now, if they lose, I'm going to be very happy, but I think it's unfortunate. I would love to see the Texans advance, but hopefully they surprise us all and have the best game of their lives. Other than that, man, that's all the games. That's all the games for the divisional round. And let the people know where they can find you, Tom.
Yeah, you can find us on different social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at On The Hop 08. YouTube as well. You can find us at On The Hop 08. Still working on some arrangements with Apple Podcasts, but you can check us out on Apple Podcasts as well. But yeah, those are all the platforms you can check out On The Hop Podcast with different takes for different sports. We chop it up, and yeah, that's where you can find On The Hop Podcast.
And well, again, Tom, I appreciate you for joining us. I'm gonna just leave on a positive note. The positive note is just gonna be as simple as just be consistent at whatever you're doing. Just be consistent at literally whatever it is a person is doing. I mean, whether you start a business cutting grass, whatever, just be consistent. Eventually, you're gonna get to where you're trying to go. So that'll be the positive note for today. And other than that, man, hit us up on Instagram at The Run Podcast, TikTok at The Run Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at The Run Podcast, YouTube, The Run with Manny Wilson, and we've been trying to use Twitter more at Podcast The Run. So we'll see. But other than that, that's all we got, man. I hope y'all enjoy the weekend, and we will be back later on. It's gonna be Friday. So yeah, we'll be back later on next week, and so on and so on and so on.